I got the thumbs up. I got the thumbs up. I know. You know, sometimes these things are a challenge. Let's see if it's working. We're going to check it over here. Are we showing up? Are we good? There it is. Okay. Woo! Sometimes when you have no control, then, you know, you have to kind of flow with it. So, we had a few technical difficulties for the last couple minutes, but thank you for being here and tuning in to Friday night dinner cooking with me in the kitchen. So, we're going to do a requested recipe. Not a requested recipe, but a method. We're going to use my Instant Pot today. So I'm going to go ahead and get it started. And I'm going to hit the saute button because we're going to saute some stuff to begin with. But the reason we're doing this is because we had some requests for how to use the Instant Pot. And yes, it is Good Friday. And yes, I am making chicken. And I know that one of my friends said, you know, tonight's not the night for chicken. And I totally agree with that. We just don't have anything else in the freezer or the fridge to make that's appropriate for a Good Friday fish meal. So we're gonna go with this. But if you did see last week's video, there was a fish video, so a fish dish. So go with that if you can. But tonight we're gonna do maple mustard. I'm checking out my heat in my Instant Pot. Give me a big thumbs up if you've got an Instant Pot and let me know that you're on and that you're interested. I see a couple people thumbs up over there. So we're going to do a couple things. One friend did actually mention that they don't have an Instant Pot. Can they make this dish without it? And yes, you can. And we'll talk about that once we get this thing going. But basically, this is a pantry meal. It's maple mustard chicken. And so I've got a couple really good pantry items here to make the sauce with. But I'm going to start with my chicken. And I had a really big pack of chicken. Like it was like 5 or 6 of those really big chicken breasts. And they're just huge. And so I cut them down. And so this is like 2 chicken breasts here that I cut into really big cubes. This is going to be a super quick meal. But I'm going to season them up a little bit with salt and pepper and a little bit of garlic powder. Not garlic salt, but garlic powder. So right from your pantry, I'm going to season these up. How you guys doing over there? Everybody tuning in? What's that?
Shoutouts? Is it time for shoutouts?
Yeah, give me some shoutouts. Who's there?
Christina Schaefer says hi.
Hey, Christina Schaefer.
Cookies and Cream says that Puppy and I are watching.
Woo. Oh, hi. Oh, I want to see that new puppy.
And Miss Robin also says hi.
Hello. All right, so a little bit of salt and pepper and garlic powder, like I said. And then I've got a little bit of olive oil. This Instant Pot is on saute. Now, you guys, I don't really use all the weird functions on my Instant Pot. I use the manual setting for most of the things that I do. I'm not going to make a cake in it. I'm not going to do any of that kind of stuff. So I just use manual. But first what I'm going to do is saute because I want to get these a little brown. So I'm going to put these in this pan. Sizzle, sizzle, making the magic. So these chunks of chicken are going to cook really, really quickly in this pot. After I get them browned, let me turn this around here. Gotta wash my hands.
The Pazas family says hi, and so do the DeLongs.
Hello, Pazas and DeLongs. I will tell you, in this family, you're the Pazai. That's how we refer to the Pazas family, the Pazai. I don't know if that's, plural for Pazas, but that's how we refer to you lovingly in this house. So I'm just going to get these browned real quick because brown is delicious and it adds a really good, layer of flavor. So we'll get those going. So the thing about the Instant Pot is, and the reason these are cut so small and everything else is cut small, is because this is literally only going to take 5 minutes once the seal is done. So I've cut everything into these smaller pieces, including the carrots and the onions, so that everything cooks really fast. I wish you guys could smell this. It smells really good so far.
Your parents say hi, and so do the Smiths. Alice Smith.
Well, hello, all of my family. All of my parents are saying hello right now.
Grandpa Alice is such a beautiful chef.
Aw, thank you, Dad. That's very sweet. You're so nice.
I'm going to try moving this a little closer to the
Very
router.
sweet. Okay, Lee's going to move that a little bit closer so we can see what's happening.
To the router.
Oh, to the router. Sorry. Okay. So, if you have like chicken thighs or something that you want to use in this recipe instead, that's totally fine. If you want to keep them whole, I would just add a couple minutes onto it. But like I said, I wanted to make this super quick. All right, so I'm gonna now, before I add anything else, add these onions. And this is half an onion, and it's sliced pretty thin because, again, we're cooking this really quick, and I wanna make sure that everything cooks at the same time. So this is about half an onion, a really big onion, actually. And I'm gonna stir that in and get it going. And these will melt, even though it's just still a really quick cook on this Instant Pot. It's gonna kind of melt in there and give a really good flavor. And I don't want to over season it, so whatever I season the chicken with is gonna be enough. All right. Anything, girls?
Your mother is very offended that I didn't mention her. Sorry, Gammy.
Oh, hi, Gammy. So my parents live about an hour away from us, and they were unable to find pasta at their grocery store for the last, 2 weeks or something. So we packed up some pasta that we had here in my pantry and sent it to my parents this week. And so I think my mom said this morning that tonight is Sketty night, and she actually spelled it S-K-E-T-T-I, Sketty night, which is how we refer to it here in this house. So I hope Sketty night was good. Mom, how was it? Tell me now. Was it good?
Karen Starrick says hi.
Hi, Karen. How are you? I miss you.
Kathy Wilson says Indiana family is watching too.
Oh, hi. Oh, I'm hoping that we can get to Indiana this year for our annual visit to Crane, the Naval Air Station there, or not the Naval Air Station. What is it?
Station.
Is it Naval Station Crane there in Indiana? We do that every year. Kind of hoping that still happens, and if it does, we'd love to see you again. So cross your fingers that happens. Okay. So this is getting brown. So the next thing I'm gonna do is add these carrots. Now, this is about, I'm gonna say 8 smaller sized carrots, and they're cut into these little pieces that are gonna cook really quickly. If you have a bag of like baby carrots, you can use that as well. Just kind of maybe cut them into 3 sections, into these little coins like this, because again, this is gonna be really, really quick. So I'm gonna put these carrots in here as well. And toss those about. So everything is all together. I hear giggling to my right. What's happening right now?
Brian Birdie says, and I quote, I love Sketty.
I like Sketty.
I like
You know
Sketty.
what, Brian Bernie? I love Sketty too.
And good that Brian gets to live.
And okay, so we're gonna talk about the sauce that I'm gonna put into this. The thing about doing a sauce in a chicken or an Instant Pot is that you want it to be super, super flavorful, but you don't want a lot of it because it's pressure cooking. So you don't need a ton of sauce. You just want it to be able to coat everything. So what I have in here is half of a cup of maple syrup. I have a quarter of a cup of tamari, which I had a couple people ask me about this on my own Facebook page the other day. What's tamari? I don't know what to do with that. This is kind of this is a type of soy sauce. It's a gluten-free soy sauce. And this one that I have is reduced sodium. So if you have a soy sauce at home, you can totally use that as well. The other thing that I have is a quarter of a cup of orange juice. And I had a fresh orange that I used, and I got a quarter of a cup out of one orange. So that's the other thing that I have. Some Dijon. I do have some chicken stock in here. Now, you guys know how I feel about chicken stock if you've been following me. I usually have a ton because I make it all the time. But I haven't made any in a while. And so I'm hoping to get some chicken with bones soon so I can make some chicken stock, because otherwise I only have about 2 cups left. So this is, kind of a big deal that I'm putting chicken stock in here. But half a cup of chicken stock, and then I'm going to use rosemary. So that's going to be the sauce. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour this on top of the chicken. Got really quiet. On the chicken. No, you're right. Yeah, if you want to, that's fine. So I'm going to pour that on top of the chicken and the onion and the carrots. Now, if you've got a little more time, you can wait until, everything is a little bit browner. But in the interest of, bringing you a video that's not too long, I'm going to go ahead and pour that in there. Now, for an Instant Pot, it takes a while to come up to heat. I'm going to turn this here really quick. You want to make sure that you're putting... Did you hear that? It sings to you. It gets so happy. So I'm going to close it and lock it. And then there's a little valve on the top, and it says, in the middle it says sealing. So that's what you want to get. You want to make sure that it's in the sealing position. And then I'm going to put it on, let's saute. I'm going to put it on manual. And I'm going to do it for 6 minutes. Now, this is going to take a bit to come up to temperature inside and create that vacuum. It's getting there. I can already actually hear it. So it'll start boiling on the inside, and it will create that vacuum and that seal. And once it does that, it's only going to take 5 minutes for it to cook. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for that, a couple other things that I wanted to talk about, because one of, hold on one sec. Let me throw that rosemary in there. I wanted to throw that rosemary in there too. Okay. All right. So we're back on track. So that's the sauce. That's what's going to happen in there. It's going to cook really quick because those pieces of vegetable and the pieces of chicken are really small. So when it comes up to temperature and it comes up to a steam and it vacuums and it does its thing, it's only going to take 5 or 6 minutes. But in the meantime, somebody asked me on Facebook, if I don't have an Instant Pot, can I still make this recipe? And my answer to that is absolutely, because if you cut everything small, like I just mentioned, you can really do this on the stovetop. So here's how I would do this. I would still cut the chicken into small pieces. I would still have the sauce in the cup like I just had it. And I would probably take the onions and make it a smaller dice instead, and then maybe roast the carrots, because the carrots, because they're going in the Instant Pot, are going to cook a lot quicker. But if you're going to do it as a side dish and do this whole thing as a thing on the stovetop, I would just roast the carrots and not even worry about it in the pan. But so if you're going to do this in a pan, I just like that song. I would take those chicken pieces, season them like we just did, olive oil in a saute pan, and then get them good and brown over like a medium-high heat. And then I would remove them. And then I would take small diced onions, throw them in the pan, turn the heat down a little bit, kind of not get them brown, but sort of sweat them, and you're gonna pull all those brown pieces from the chicken up off the bottom of the pan, and that should take maybe 5 minutes. And then when you do that, I would deglaze the pan with the sauce. So you pour that in, kind of scrape up all that goodness on the bottom, and then you're gonna cook it down. You're gonna like reduce that sauce down probably by half. That could take like 8 to 10 minutes. And then when that happens, then put all the chicken back in the pan with all the juices, and then turn it and toss it to coat it. And then that's how you would do it on the stovetop. So any questions about that particular part of this so far? Anybody?
Not that I can see.
All right.
There's a little bit of a delay though.
Okay. So I can hear this starting to bubble in there, and you can actually hear it. Yeah, you can hear it bubbling and you can smell it. I had another question about I don't have orange juice, and that's okay. That's totally fine. In this, you could use a lemon juice. You could use lime juice. The only thing is it's a zest. I mean, it's a citrus thing, right? So you can use whatever you've got, which is totally fine. The other thing that I wanted to mention, I'm going to run over here really quick and grab these. I've got all these fun things. So I've got this fig and orange spread in my fridge, and some spiced cherry preserves, and what is this? Like sour cherry spread, and this was a present for my parents just recently, red pepper jelly, that type of thing. If you don't have orange juice or any kind of juice like that, you could swap out and use like an orange marmalade or an orange, spread like that. Just, I would reduce the, oh, I can hear it. Here it comes. It's getting there. I would just reduce the maple syrup a little bit. The cool thing about this is you can taste the sauce before you throw it in there and make sure that it's got that really good balance of like the Dijon's got like that tart kind of super mustardy sour flavor, and then this is sweet, and then citrusy and stuff. Just taste it. If it tastes well balanced to you, it's gonna make a really good sauce. So here's the weird thing about Instant Pot sometimes. I don't know if you guys can hear it and see it, but it's already starting to come up. You can see the smoke coming there. And there's this little lever on the top, this little indicator here that will pop up when it's sealed and it's ready to go. Now, so what I did just there, and this is something that I read online, that if you use your Instant Pot a lot, that sometimes it doesn't always automatically seal on its own, but if you push down on it, it will really seal itself. So, and I can answer questions about that later on if you like, but so now we're officially sealed. It's boiling in there, it's pressure cooking, it's doing its thing, and it shouldn't take that much longer for it to be done. Okay, I do have a couple other things I want to tell you guys about, but before we get into that, are there any questions about Instant Pot or what we're using here? No? All right.
Not yet, but Matt does love his Instapot.
Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Matt Pfeiffer?
Yes, Matt Pfeiffer.
Well, hello, Matt Pfeiffer.
And a little bit ago, your parents said thank you for the care package.
Oh, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome.
They did ask, because I think they joined a little late, what mode is it on? They said saute or what?
So the mode that it's on, to begin with, I use saute, and that was what I did when I browned the chicken, and then I put the onions in, and then when I put the carrots in and the sauce, then I turned it to manual. I just hit manual, and then hit it for like 6 minutes. So, and here we go. So it's going to be 6 minutes before this says it's done. Manual for me. But if you're doing, so the other day I did no, it was probably a month ago. I did chicken stock, and I think I used the soup and broth. But there's also like egg, which you can use to hard boil eggs if you guys have ever. So that's one thing I've used this for sure. Anyway, I know. One thing that I have used this for is to hard boil eggs, and if you put eggs in here, it takes like 6 minutes when you bring them up. 6 minutes, and you release the pressure, and then you're done. It's a perfect hard boiled egg. There's rice, multigrain, porridge. I don't use all those functions. I just use it manually. But maybe that's something I can explore in the future. Any other questions, girls?
Matt Pfeiffer does say hello, beautiful.
Hey, sunshine.
And Miss Elena Campbell says that hers takes forever to come up to pressure, and she's excited to learn how to use it for other dishes.
I think it depends, to Elena's question about it takes forever to come up to pressure. I think it depends on what you're putting in there. How much, how much you put in there. If you're making like a bone broth or a stock or something, it does take a while for the contents to come up to boil inside of it. So that's another key part of how long it takes. When I do like a stock or soup or stew or something like that, it does take a while to come up to a boil and then get that pressure going. But this is a small recipe, and so it shouldn't take that long. One thing I do want to talk about while we're waiting is I've been focusing a lot on how to preserve, things that we have in the kitchen. And so today I used a whole orange to do this, the juice of an orange, but I zested the orange first. And I was like, what can I do with this? So my thought was that I would add that orange zest to some sugar. So this is the zest of one orange and half of a cup of sugar. And I'm just gonna put this in here, and it's already a beautiful orange color. And when you open it up, you can smell like the oils from the zest coming out. So we're gonna use this, and probably my girls like to have tea every morning. And so they've already said, yeah, we wanna have that in our tea, and tomorrow's Saturday, so maybe we'll have a big breakfast and do some tea. But the other thing I wanted to point out is, and vanilla beans are a really good thing to do too with sugar. If you wanted to put some vanilla bean, take one vanilla bean, sort of split it down the middle and put it into a half a cup of sugar, and then you have vanilla sugar. One of the other things I'm gonna try is my friend Scott Gabriel, who is the general manager of the Rainforest Cafe in Auburn Hills. He is going in every single day. Talk about unknown essential workers, right? So I feel for all of our restaurant people who are having a hard time right now, but I never considered the fish at Rainforest Cafe needing to be taken care of on a daily basis. Even though the restaurant is shut down, there are tons of live animals there that need to be taken care of. So my friend Scott has been going in every day. He's the general manager, like I said, and he's checking on the fish, and he's making sure they're okay, and he's feeding them, and he's taking care of business over there. But he is a world traveling kind of guy, and he is an honest to goodness chef that I admire deeply. And he has been watching my videos, and he suggested that he had some things in his pantry that he wanted to offer up to me to see if I could do anything with them. And one of them is this culinary lavender, which is quite lovely. He dropped it off to me the other day after he checked on the fish. Dropped it in the driveway, and we did the thing. But I think what I'm gonna do with this, to be honest with you, is put it in the sugar like I did the orange zest and see what that's like. But this feels very proper and English to me, so the girls are gonna maybe use that in their tea. But he also dropped off this phenomenal bottle of saffron. This is really, really, really quite generous of him to drop off. But he, I guess, got this in Dubai. Yeah, he got this in Dubai when he was over there working to open a restaurant over there. But that's a lot of saffron. So give me a thumbs up if you have saffron at home and you have no idea what to do with it, because I would love to kind of figure out something fun to do with this. So maybe that's something we'll play with in the future. But, and really quick check-in with our, preserved lemons here. It's been almost 2 weeks. They still look good. That syrup is thick. We're gonna see what we can do with that. If you guys watched, I think it was 2 weeks ago when I started this. That's an experiment we're keeping an eye on. And with that, the Instant Pot just said, I am done. Okay, so when that happens, you have two, it keeps doing that on its own. You have two options. You can do a quick release, or you can just do a natural release. Now, a natural release is that you just leave it until such time as when you work this top here, it releases on its own. The quick release is what we're gonna do, and that means I'm gonna take this little top and I'm gonna, it says venting and venting on either side. And so I'm going to, go ahead, can you see it? So you can see it says venting and venting over here. I am going to go ahead and release that steam. You stand way back from that. You don't put yourself anywhere near it. And so this lets all the steam out right away. And the only other steps to making this dish, I'm going to take a little bit of arrowroot powder. You could use cornstarch if you have it, but I have some arrowroot here, and I'm going to make what's called a slurry. I'm just going to add a little water, and I'm going to mix it up. And this is what's going to thicken that sauce. It's going to make it glossy. It takes very little time when you use arrowroot or cornstarch to thicken your sauce. Still going. So, are there any questions on so far while we're waiting for this?
Miss Amy Sierra Delgado, said, can you add zest to make a butter spread?
Zest to your butter? Oh my, yes. Did she say butter?
Yeah. Yes.
So yes, actually, Amy, oh my gosh, I'm glad you asked that. Because a couple months ago, around Thanksgiving time, I did a series on my blog, urbangourmetlakeorion.com, about compound butters. So yes, zest and all that kind of stuff in your butter is great. And then if you mix it all up, you could do lemon and parsley and garlic. I think lemon, parsley, and garlic, are the three main ingredients to maitre d' butter, I believe. I'll have to look that up. But that's really good if you mix it all together and like you have a steak or something on the grill and then you put a pat of that on top of it. So good. But maybe I'll link to those compound butters that I did early in November. So there it is. Hold on, let me move this over here. One thing I do want to kind of make sure that you guys all know, this is super hot, and you want to make sure that you're being really, really careful. So I'm going to hit off and then saute again and get the sauce going a little bit more. And I'm going to remove all the solid bits that are in here, the veggies, the chicken, and then those bits of rosemary, because I want to bring the sauce back up to a boil and then add that arrowroot in there. Gosh, this smells really good. The really cool thing about pressure cooking stuff is it just jams all the flavor into whatever's in there. It doesn't escape. It just goes right into whatever you're cooking. So, all right, while I'm doing this, anything to add? No?
No.
All right. All right, so we're gonna serve this with a very simple, just rice, just jasmine rice with the sauce on top. Like I said, if you're gonna make this in the stove on the stovetop, you would just reduce this down with heat, and you wouldn't really use any kind of cornstarch or whatever. So tell me, what's everybody doing this weekend for Easter? My daughter over there. Okay. I hear this coming back up. So I'm going to take a little whisk here. Okay, and while I'm waiting for this, I want to kind of mention a couple other things. If you live here in Oakland County, I found online earlier that the Oakland County Farmers Market is doing curbside delivery now, and there's a woman who owns Milford Spice Company who has a booth there at Oakland County Farmers Market, and she has offered, I don't know how that's working, but she has decided that she's going to help people shop at the Oakland County Farmers Market. And so I don't know if it's too late tonight to do that, but keep it in mind for the following weekends. But there are 3 or 4, I think there are 4 other farmers, vendors at the farmers market who've listed on the website what they have available, and phone numbers to call them if you want to place an order. And there's also this lovely person from Milford Spice is taking text messages from people, and she will, as a vendor, go pull your order for you, and then there's a way for her to create an invoice online, and you can pay it, and she's going to shop it for you, and then they'll bring it out to your car. So if you at all love the Oakland County Farmers Market as much as I do, and I really wish this whole thing to be over soon, because I love nothing more than to go to the farmers market and pick up as many things as I can. I mean, I buy a ridiculous amount of stuff, and I feel at this point we need a wagon just to make through. But if you want to have some fresh fruits and vegetables that are grown locally by some wonderful people, I recommend you go to the Oakland County Farmers Market Facebook page and look at that and see if that's something that you can participate in. And then also very, very locally here in Lake Orion, Great Harvest Bread, they are offering online ordering of their delicious bread products. And my understanding is that they also have flour for sale. I don't know if that's currently happening, but if you are desperate for bread or anything comforting like that, or if you need some flour, I would say go to their website and find out. So there you go. Yes. Yep. Oh, yep. I'm going to so we're going to bring the camera over here. You can see that it's boiling. I'm going to put this slurry in here. And as you can see, it gets pretty thick, pretty quick. It doesn't take very much. And the thing about cornstarch and arrowroot is that it makes this super glossy sauce. It doesn't reduce down. It takes very little time for it to thicken up like that. But it's got that beautiful thick, you can see how glossy and delicious that is. So, I don't know. Let me see. I'm going to try and add this stuff back in here real quick. And then I will serve it up with some rice and show you guys what that looks like. All right. Before I do that, any final questions before we do that? Okay, so here we go, guys. This is what we're having for dinner. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to unplug it. And I've got a little bit of, like I said, some jasmine rice here. And there it is. Some of this chicken, maple mustard chicken, with some vegetables in the Instant Pot. Didn't take very long. You can zhuzh it up and make it really pretty if you have some parsley or some fresh herbs of any sort. But there it is. Really quick, Instant Pot maple mustard chicken. We're gonna enjoy our dinner now, and I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend and enjoy your holiday. And please continue to send me questions when you have them. I'm happy to answer them. I'm really enjoying connecting with a lot of you. And stay safe out there, and we'll see you next week. Bye.